I've still got all my fingers. Occasionally they'll get into someone's bedroom. See, foxes don't articulate like we do. They use their mouths to sense and find out what things are. So if they find a hand hanging out of the bedclothes, they might taste it. Mm-hmm. But that's all it is. It's not like people imagine a fox attacking like an aggressive dog. That's not how they operate. They might nip you if they're cornered and you stick your hand in a box they're in, for example. They'll bite you, same as any other wild creature. But they're not going to come stalking you like people think they are.
No. I think the media might have a bit of blame on their doorstep there.
Of course.
So another thing people kind of might think is, well, why are they coming into towns? Why don't they stick to the countryside? Obviously, that's their home. Why are they bothering us in our little enclaves?
Well, it's not a case of yours and theirs and ours. The foxes were here, right where we sit at the moment, before we were. All we've done is occupy some of their space, and then we expect, as we do with our arrogance with everything else, to move over and go to the woods. Well, foxes don't necessarily survive and exist in the woods. They're historical, so even though they've got no way of knowing in our realm of things that their mother was born in a particular place, there's something that compels them to go back there. Just like elephants have graveyards, it's beyond our realms because we've lost all those senses, but foxes certainly have them still.
So sometimes I might see a fox with mange. Does it need to be destroyed? Does it need to be treated?
It needs to be treated, otherwise it will perish.
Mm-hmm.
You can treat foxes for mange homeopathically. Well, the homeopathy doesn't work, the scientists will tell you. Mm-hmm. But it does work. It works with wild animals who don't know they're getting it anyway. So it is treatable. If it's left untreated, some foxes seem to get an immunity to it. Don't know how, but they do. But the majority will perish eventually.
Oh, right, okay. And that's sarcoptic mange, is it?
Sarcoptic mange.
Yeah. Talking of foxes that might be a bit injured or otherwise, who can we call if we find one that's injured or we think it needs assistance?
Depending on where you are, if you're in the southeast of the country, the Fox Project is a good place to start. They're based down at the other side of Tunbridge Wells. Other than that, you need to Google other search engines that are available. Your local wildlife rescue centre.
And I think maybe that might be a good point to stress, because I've done that in the past where I've rescued wildlife and I've taken it to the vet. Although they're obliged, I believe, to treat wildlife, they're not there to rehabilitate them. I find that quite often they will put to sleep animals, whereas wildlife charities may give them more of a chance. Do you think that's fair to say?
I think that's a fair comment. I mean, there are vets that are more compassionate than others, of course. Generally, if you take a wild animal to a vet, they haven't got the structure to treat it and recuperate it, so they tend to destroy them humanely. It's that lovely word again. So you're always best really to seek out your local wildlife rescue who will have working for them wildlife-friendly vets.
I love the work that you do. I think it's fantastic, and I would urge everybody to go and seek you out if they need help with foxes or they need help deterring them. I know that you say on your website that, you know, some people just do not want foxes in their garden, so you're able to implement measures that will discourage them, or in the kind of ultimate instance, you can relocate them. Is that correct?
Can't relocate them by law.
Right.
It's a criminal offence to take a wild animal, particularly a territorial one, and in essence dump it somewhere.
Right.
There is a process that you can move wild animals around. It's called soft capture and release. But because it's complicated, it's going to be expensive, and most people won't want to pay the fees involved in it.
Right.
I mean, you literally have to trap it, take it to a piece of land where you can contain it and look after it. Because once you've captured a wild animal, it's then your responsibility in law.
Right.
And then release it when the circumstances are right and it's been softly introduced into the area you've taken it. So we let them manage themselves.
Right.
In essence, what we do, to simplify it greatly, is we make where their territory is or the part of their territory which people don't want them in as uncomfortable for them as possible.
Right. Okay. So just discouraging them from coming back. And there are companies out there, I think you mentioned this on your website again, that will say to you, we will trap your fox and release it elsewhere, or, you know, whatever it is the services they offer. But you're saying basically that's not going to be the case because that's, well, either illegal or very, very difficult to do.
Basically, it's a confidence trick. Some people will tell you anything you want if they're going to take money out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And pest control companies, in general, are not at all ethical.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be killing things in the first place, I would suggest.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone says to you, we'll trap your foxes and take them away somewhere, a common one is take them to the fox sanctuary. There is no fox sanctuary.
Sounds like something your mum told you when she wanted to get rid of your dog or something. Oh, he's going to go and live on the farm.
Yeah, beware of the fox bogeyman.
So if people really are struggling with the foxes in their garden, is there anything they can do to discourage them themselves that won't harm the foxes?
Yes, there is. Don't look on the internet because you'll find advice to collect male urine in a pot and spread that all over your garden. All you'll end up with is a smelly garden. There's things like putting down cayenne pepper, doesn't work. Foxes will probably lick it up. Sonic devices, which are freely available, work on ultrasound, I believe. We've tested them all. I'm not saying they're useless, but I wouldn't buy one for myself or sell one to someone else. Really, our experience, we've got a water repellent device, which is probably one of our best devices. And then we've got a derivative of Scoot, which is a commercial mammal repellent, which we use. So Scoot is good, but the instructions are sketchy. So you're best off phoning a professional to get advice about how to use it. And then you've got to Get Off My Garden, which is one that can stop them peeing and pooing.
So I think the only place people should go on the internet is your website. So can you let people know how they can contact you?
Yeah, they just go to www.Fox-A-Gon, that's fox-a-gon.co.uk.
Terry, you're a good man. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Just a final thought from me. If you're a gardener or you work as a gardener, please, can you investigate the repellent methods that Terry recommends, or call the Fox Project for advice, or call Fox-A-Gon for a solution in the first instance if you are dealing with foxes that either you see as a problem or your clients do. And now for something a bit different. Here's a promo for a podcast that you might just be interested in checking out.
Hello, my name is Jane Perrone and I'm the host of a podcast called On the Ledge. If you've ever wondered where you've gone wrong with that spider plant that's turning yellow, or despaired over your dead Venus flytrap, then this is where my podcast comes in, because On the Ledge is all about houseplants, indoor gardening, how you can keep your plants alive inside. I've been obsessed with houseplants since I was a little kid, but there's still loads for me to learn. So come along and learn with me. I talk to the experts, help to answer your houseplant problems, and struggle over Latin names. On the Ledge is available on all good pod apps, and you can check out my website at janeperrone.com.
Definitely do check out the On the Ledge podcast if you are remotely interested in houseplants. It is fantastic. So thank you all for listening this week, and I will catch you next Tuesday.